Okay, so this is Journal 5. Yeah, Journal 5. And it's Sunday night. This week was my last week with women's soccer, and I got a ton of masteries. Ton of attempts. I think at least 30. And I got two masteries. We have just finally started getting into electrical STEM and everything like that. So now we are allowed to hook people up and play, not really play, but be able to count that as attempts to help us understand where to place pads, how high to turn up the intensity, what the parameters are. So I got a lot of those for attempts. I got a lot of wound care, especially with being out on the turf for this sport. There's a lot of, turf burn and infection from people not covering up their wounds or scrapes, thinking that they need to let it air out and things getting stuck inside them, and us having to go in with betadine and remove some of that scab because it has stuff that's not supposed to be there in it, and you have to restart the healing process, and you have to inform them that they're supposed to keep it covered. It should be a no-brainer, but I guess it isn't. I did a lot of shoulder rehab, a lot of shoulder treatment, especially this week, more than the other two with this rotation. I guess because women's soccer is in full rotation between playing, lifting, and all that in practice, the upper body lifting has really taken a toll on their bodies. They're very tight in the trap, in the pec minor area right here. A lot of knots, so a lot of trigger point, and a lot of suction, and a lot of massage, honestly, to kind of work that out. But I'm going to go ahead and get into the journal. So it says, what is your biggest fear or challenge when it comes to evaluating a patient, and how am I working to improve that? My biggest fear with evaluating is missing a key part that could help me diagnose. So if I miss part of range of motion, I grade the manual muscle test wrong, grade the brake test wrong, I could be diagnosing completely something different. And I am scared, not really scared, I guess apprehensive to do one by myself at this point. Because lately I have left one thing out, just one or two things, small things, but it makes a difference when you're trying to put things together, because the body is crazy and crazy complicated, and you leave one thing out and shoot, you are in the opposite assessment for something else that's not right. In class, that really helped me when in lower extremities, evaluation of lower extremities, we got to document a evaluation. So one of our assignments that is due this coming Tuesday is to write up the SOAP note, and I think that will help me, go through all the steps and realize that there are so many things, but you still have to do it. But I did my first evaluation with an upperclassman probably not this week, last week maybe, the beginning of the week, and I got to do S and O. I got to do history and observation. a little bit of observation, just the visual part of observation, because I do not know the anatomy of the shoulder yet, because I'm in lower for class. But I think that what would help me go through the step is honestly just being thrown in there and doing some more with some upperclassmen, or being able to observe while even our certifieds or my preceptors go through them. I think me switching rotation to football this week, a lot of injuries happen in football. That's just how it is. A lot of wound care, a lot of taping. So I think this rotation will be very beneficial for me, because it's going to help me watch Cole, my preceptor, do evaluations. I may be able to get help with evaluations, which would help me a lot. But yeah, my biggest fear is leaving something out or doing a test wrong, getting a false positive or a false negative because I did something wrong, and that would either rule something in or rule something out, which I might need. But I would say leaving something out would be my biggest fear. Granted, we're humans, we make mistakes, but when it comes to someone wanting to return to play as soon as possible and you get something wrong, it comes back on you. You are pretty much the first step of getting better. If they come to you first, you are the first step, because they look to you to see if what's wrong. Not if, but to see what's wrong. So my biggest fear is leaving something out, getting the assessment wrong, them getting a second opinion and being completely off, and my trust leaving that athlete. My job in that case being, if I was a certified, but here as a student, my place in the program would kind of be questioned, but they do know that we are learning. But if I was a certified, my job would definitely be looked at. I would be probably put underneath a magnifying glass. Every step I take would be looked at. But it would be a learning process, honestly. I mean, I could learn something if someone got a second opinion and I was just a little bit off because I forgot one thing. But I'm excited to be on football. Even though everyone else dreads it, I am actually excited because, yeah, women's soccer is fun, but it's just a lot of back pain and shin splints and wound care. So I'm excited to be doing taping and lots of rehab. They have lots of shoulder injuries and things like that. So I'm excited. So we'll see how this week goes. And I'll be back for Journal 6 next Sunday.